Well, welcome back once again to the historic Hotel Orloff. Here in rural Retreat, Virginia, we have been amassing a giant museum of rare collectibles, ladies and gentlemen. And here at the Hotel Orloff, we will be having some fun showing some of this stuff off, ladies and gentlemen. So, with no further ado, let's get started. All right, so we enter in to the Hotel Orloff, ladies and gentlemen, where we have comic books. Here in the Hotel Orloff, it's always Christmas, and there's always bubblegum cards. Planet of the Apes. Fine art, ladies and gentlemen. Arcade games, paperbacks, everything that makes life worth living. We've been also putting together a television show called The Tomb of Terror. It's kind of like a sequel to The Hypnotic Eye, a show I used to work on back in the 1990s. You might remember The Hypnotic Eye from the mid to late 1990s from Dallas Public Access. I portrayed Donny Osmond. Here's Donny Osmond. Remember this guy? But anyway, we've just put together the 16th episode of The Tomb of Terror, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new opening credit sequence. And much like the original Hypnotic Eye, we've used the themed Ultra Q, the Japanese TV series from, what was it, around 1963, 64? So, let's kind of show you the
so that we may bring you the following special program. Now, a special program.
This is the beginning of episode 16. Anyway, they say you can't go home again. This is my tribute and my attempt to revive the Hypnotic Eye. So, order episodes if you like. I've got to get to the post office here. I can't stay on this episode too long. I've got 2 packages to send off to people that have ordered episodes, and then supposed to come in the mail today DVD duplicators so I can make more than 1 copy at a time. Let's see if anything's shown up here. No. I'm also supposed to get a spindle of 100 DVD-Rs. I'm now out of DVDs, so I can't really do anything more until that arrives. So, having said that, that being said, let's see what else we can look at here. Here in the historic Hotel Sprinkle. Well, it's now the Hotel Orloff. We officially changed the name from the Hotel Sprinkle, which is what it's been called since really before the Civil War, to the Hotel Orloff. We made that change about a month ago. Let's see, what can we show you here? If you're following the news, maybe this is the book that you should read. So a lot of scary things happening in the news, but here at the Hotel Orloff, we don't worry about what's happening in the world. Well, when we last left off, we were in the middle of looking at some oversized Treasury editions. I call them Treasury editions. Marvel called them Treasury editions. DC called them limited collector editions, and they were big tabloid-sized comics that came out in the 1970s. Ouch. We're turning off the lights, ladies and gentlemen, because climate change is an existential threat to our democracy, and it causes Greta Thunberg to shed a tear and say, "How dare you?" So I don't dare to create a huge carbon footprint, so therefore I turn off the lights. Also, the electric bill is insane here at the Hotel Orloff, so we'll do a show without light. Let's go upstairs. Oh, I need my phone charger, don't I? I sure do. So anyway, how do you get this TV show? You've got to I charge $20 a copy, and that includes postage. But it seems like if people order a whole bunch, maybe I should give a discount as far as postage. I don't know. Postage is expensive, but anyway, Anyway, they're $20 each. You send it to send $20 to postage included. Send it to PayPal at Kenneth Weinert. That's KENNETHWEINERT, and then you put your address down, and we'll get those episodes out soon. I'm just waiting on this machine to show up. Help me duplicate them a little bit more quickly and efficiently. Because as it stands, I'm recording. Takes 2 hours to make each disc. All right. So, we're back. Let's turn on some lights in here. Okay. Let's set you up over here. Okay, so there's an Alex Ross oversized book, Wonder Woman book, beautifully painted. Let's put that in here with these treasuries. Here's the companion to that, JLA Secret Origins. I guess it's actually getting hot enough that I can start turning this fan on. Is it going the right direction? Hold on, in the summer, I didn't even know this because in Texas, people only have their ceiling fans go one way, but here in Virginia, people in the winter reverse the ceiling fan to do the opposite. And right now the ceiling fan is going clockwise. Is that the correct direction for summer? I don't know. Well, we'll see. Because one blows the air down, one sucks the air up. Hold on a second. I think I'm doing it the wrong way. So I haven't changed this since. Okay, anyway, let it stop and then I'll change it. I haven't changed it since the weather changed. Yeah, whatever. Here's the Big Boy Barbecue book. It's highly collectible. Let's see. I gotta try to use one of these phrases every so often. Okay, moving forward. That being said, I already used climate change, an existential threat to our democracy. Let's go down another rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen. Rabbit holes on there. That's another one that. Okay. Bunch of little things. Here's the Rock Island timetables. The little things like this. This tells you when all the train schedules. I'm going to put into a little box. Here's greetings from Arlington Heights, Illinois. These little postcards and these little flyers. I'll put these in a box. Things like this old driver's license. There's me back multi-decades ago. Speaking of, you can't even see it. Several decades ago, man, what is wrong with this light? Several decades ago, there you go. How about that? I'm wearing a Tales from the Crypt t-shirt. You can't even see it. Several decades ago, ladies and gentlemen, whoa! 46 years ago, in fact, I believe it was 46 years ago tomorrow, the original Star Wars was released. And so May 25th is really Star Wars Day. It's really the anniversary of Star Wars, not May the 4th. That's just a cutesy thing for people that weren't there when Star Wars came out, that don't know what it was like when Star Wars came out, that actually liked the prequels and whatever, like Darth Maul or whatever. I'm just an old school guy that liked the original first 3 Star Wars movies. Oh, man. I'm sorry, I tripped on the electric cord, ladies and gentlemen. But it's okay, the show's still going. This morning I tripped on the electric cord that plugs in the Roku up in the master bedroom and tore the part that attaches into the TV, tore the head off of the cord. So I had to grab the other electric cord from the Roku on this level and take it upstairs. Now I got to replace that cord. It just never ends. My clumsiness never seems to end. Here's a picture of me from about 2009. Look at that. Look how much, look how different I look. I look like Doctor Strange or something back then. Okay, well, speaking of Star Wars, look, this is what I cut out of the newspaper from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. On the day that Star Wars came out in Fort Worth, how about that? It was a full-page ad. It was playing at the Opera House and the Six Flags Mall Theater. Both theaters are now long gone. The Opera House was an impressive theater, made to look like an 1870s style opera house. They had a whole little shopping area that was made to look like the old, 1800s. And see, it still had that original art by the Hildebrandt brothers, where they really don't look like the actors so much, but very Germanic. Beautiful poster. And the other side, you can see the other stuff that was playing. I laminated it. You can see King Kong was still playing, I guess, at the Dollar Theaters. The Shootist, which was John Wayne's last movie. For the Love of Benji, Audrey Rose, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. A Bridge Too Far was playing. Run for Your Life, Charlie Brown. Anyway, I had this laminated, had this hanging up in my childhood bedroom for the longest. Oh boy, am I fat, man. That looks horrible. I am trying to lose weight, although this morning at lunch we had these breaded sandwiches, and a soft drink came with the meal, so I had to get a soft drink as it came. So I actually drank a Coke. I've been trying to avoid it, but they keep bringing me back in, man. I'll put this in the closet. All right. What else do we want to look at here? If you save anything long enough, it's cool. Even a little sterling silver tableware. How about that? This was something that belonged to my mother, so I hold on to it. Some people would throw that away, but not here. We don't do that here. All right, let's move these records. Here's a, does it even work anymore? It's a hopping hand. Let's see if it still works. It no longer works. It used to work. It used to hop around. But it's still cool looking. A severed hand. Even has a wedding ring. It worked before the move, but those cursed movers must have broken my severed hand. I'll put that over there. Okay. Here's a ridiculous Spider-Man item. Let's put that over. Where can I put that? You probably will say in the trash. Okay. Let's move Pebbles Flintstone over. Let's see what's in this box. Okay, Silver Surfer. Ooh. This is a cool comic. Skull the Slayer. I need to get this into a bag and board. I think I still have some bags and boards. Do I? Possibly. Anyway, Skull the Slayer. Bought this when I was a kid. Look at that, man. This came out in... Ooh, this looks really good. Steve Gann, artist. I do not know that guy. August of 75. So this came out in June of 75. So that would be right about the time that we were packing to move from San Antonio to Tacoma, Washington. Which, man, I wish we'd stayed in San Antonio. I had some good friends there. Look at this page there. Dinosaurs look very, very Wally Wood-like, doesn't it? But it's a guy named Steve Gann. And then I don't have issue 2, but I have 3 and 4. So issue 2 would be something I should get, wouldn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Skull the Slayer. Here's the Son of Satan, #1. How about that? Marvel cashing in on that devil craze that was going on back then with, well, it really started with the Rosemary's Baby and all of that. But The Exorcist is what really tipped it over the edge there. And all then everything was devil stuff there for a while in the 70s. Okay. Special Marvel edition, Spectre. There's more Spectre. Yeah. Is there anything worth looking at here? Who knows? Here's my earliest Bronze Age Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. All the earlier issues are in the boxes over there, the Silver Age, 1960s stuff. But for me, the Bronze Age started with the 20-cent price tag. So, Amazing Spider-Man, these books are very sought after. Okay, the rest of this box is going to be Spider-Man. Okay, fantastic. But it is what it is, and we're going to build back better. Yeah, because I mean this sincerely, it's not hyperbole. We won't move this chair back here, ladies and gentlemen. Ah, you swine. Whoa. Yesterday I kind of hurt myself moving a long box. That was not fun. Okay, where will we put you guys? Put you down lower somewhere. I'll put you guys down on top of this Chip and Dale comic. All right. Okay, so you came to see Treasury Editions. The first one that came out was this one. And my mom bought it for me in Hampton, Virginia when I was in 2nd grade. And this is a pretty valuable book now. It's reprints of the 1950s DC comic Rudolph with this beautiful artwork. And of course, at the time, in Christmas of 72, I didn't know these were reprints of 50s comics. I just knew it was wonderful and delightful. And so, how about that? And then, this I got later. This is a later one from, I got this from Half Price Books, I think. Real cheap. I've shown these books before to you in the old days. Rudolph. There's quite a few of these. And then there was a digest size Rudolph in the 70s too, but I don't have that. Those digests were hard to read when you were a kid because the print's so small, and it's a lot worse now that you're older. But these, of course, are easy to read. I don't have any of the original 1950s Rudolph comics. I wish I did. And here, I have all the Christmas stuff out of order because of the Christmas show. That's why all the Christmas stuff's at the front of the box. I did a Christmas show where I was showing all these off, I think 2 years ago. I was wondering why these are all out of order and all the Christmas stuff is in the front. that is why. Yeah, these are Marvel's Treasury Edition. But the one that really got me was this one. My mom bought this for me in San Antonio, and that's what got me into the Marvel superheroes. And I just got an extra copy of it over here. Actually, this camera is not straight. Sorry. Oh boy. What's wrong with you guys? Okay, there we go. It's not straight enough. Okay. All right. What is this? Oh, it's a poster for School of Rock that was given out to teachers to give to their students to promote a movie. This actually was a pretty good movie. I mean, a very good movie. I remember enjoying this movie a lot. And would I enjoy it today? Probably. School of Rock. Let's put that over here. Okay, there were some Treasury editions I was filing in here. Okay. See, here's another copy I got from Gotham City Comics. It's not in as good a condition as my childhood copy, but I got it really cheaply, and it just see, it's missing a corner in the back, but it's great to read. See, this inside back cover has the cutaway view of the Baxter Building, and of course it has this wonderful Jack Kirby art. They reprint the majority of the Galactus trilogy, which was a high water mark of Marvel in the 60s, and you've got to understand that, man, all I see, it seems like, are people criticizing Stan Lee. You know, he didn't really create the characters. The thing that Stan Lee did is he was a magnificent salesman, and he was able to sprinkle some magical fairy dust onto this art that took it to the next level, where if this had just been written by Jack Kirby and it was his actual words, it wouldn't have worked as well. There was something he was able to do. And people say, but we've seen the original art, we see what Jack Kirby wrote in the margins, it was almost the same. He did something, and it might have been just the fact that the characters weren't perfect and they argued with each other, which is what Stan Lee always kind of said that he brought to it. It's kind of why I've used this analogy before. Paul McCartney and John Lennon, they needed each other. Okay? You know, Paul McCartney's writing a song. It's getting better all the time. It's getting better all the time. Oh, things are so wonderful. And then John Lennon says, no, you're saying it's getting better all the time. Then why don't we say it couldn't get much worse? And then so he brings his edge into it. Oh, look, Pete the cat has come to visit. Hey, Pete the cat, did I wake you up talking about nerd stuff? Why, yes, I probably did. Anyway, point is, they collaborated on songs. So when the Beatles broke up, Paul McCartney was able to, Live and Let Die. That was a great song. I don't know, you could argue Band on the Run or something, but in the last 4 or 5 decades, what has Paul McCartney done? John Lennon had more solid material after the Beatles broke up, but still, it was not what happened during those magical years of the 60s. The 60s, when these stories were coming out, it was just a time of magic. This was coming out for 12 cents. You could read the Galactus trilogy. Actually, it would be 3 times 12. So that would be 30. That would have cost you 36 cents to read the entire Galactus trilogy in 1960s money. 3 issues, 12 cents each. That's amazing math. And you said, well, what about in the later period of the Beatles where John Lennon, he would go off and write his songs and Paul McCartney would write his own songs, and then they would still say Lennon-McCartney technically, but they didn't really collaborate. No, what it was, they may not have, but they knew they were going to bring their song in and present it to the other 3 guys, and because they were accountable, you know, Paul McCartney knew that John Lennon was going to be hearing his song that he wrote on his own, or John Lennon, you know, knew McCartney was going to hear his. It forced them to work harder, and I don't know. Or it could just be that you only have a certain amount of creative juice in your body, and then you use it all up in your 20s, and then, you know, who knows. But I don't think all this Marvel revolution could have happened without Stan Lee. Yes, he's over-credited as far as creating the characters, but this is wonderful. Imagine, you know, I was in, I guess, let me see exactly when this came out. This is why this is important, because this changed my world. I was only reading monster comics, you know, Monster of Frankenstein, Tomb of Dracula, Werewolf by Night, House of Mystery, Ghost. I was into monster stuff. The only superhero comics I got were a couple of, I had a Spider-Man comic, one single one that my mom had bought me when I was sick, and things like that. But when I got this and read it, then I realized, oh, these other comics, not just the monster ones, because I would also read Dennis the Menace and things like that, and the monster magazines too. I realized, oh, this other stuff's great too. And so I want to find out when I was awakened. When was the awakening that, when did this exactly come out? I think it was the summer between my 3rd and 4th grade year. Well, let me see here. This may not be dated the same way because the Treasury edition may be meant to be on the stands a little longer than a regular comic. So it doesn't have a month. It just says 1974. Yeah, I think this came, I mean, I could look at mycomicshop.com. I think it came out the summer. 4th grade, I really got into Marvel Comics, and I got Origins of Marvel Comics for my birthday in 4th grade, and I believe that's how it all worked, how it all happened. So anyway, let's get this in here. And the next, okay. Then another one I got from Kevin at Gotham City Comics is this reprinting of All-Star Comics #3, which is where the Justice Society of America came together. So they print the ads on a cardboard, saying that all the ads are printed here, but they print it this way. In the later ones, see, they have the ad here, because they realized what people were doing, and let me show you. That one is number F7. Hold on. Man, it is hot in here. Hold on. I think I gotta switch that. I gotta switch the directions of those blades. Okay. There we go. Looking for one that wasn't bagged. See, when they did these initially, this one is F4. So it's a few before that. You open it up, and there's a slick cover. And then there's a slick cover. So what people would do, they would reprint the first appearance of Batman, or the first issue of Superman, or Action Comics #1, and people would just pull this cardboard cover off, and then you would have this, and people would sell that as a real comic to people that were not bright enough to know that this is too big. They might have thought, well, maybe back in the 1940s they made comics that big. They were bigger in the 1940s, but they weren't this big. So there were cases where people were ripped off by unscrupulous people, and they're still doing it. There was an old guy that came in and swore he had actually, the first appearance of Superman. I said, is it big like an old Life magazine? He says, yeah. See, he thought I was wanting him to say yes. And I said, oh, that's a reprint from the 70s. He swore, no, I've had it looked at by people, and they swore he was wanting to sell it, to the local comic store. He thought that he was super rich, or he was going to con them into that. Here's F5. This is the one that came out after that. It's the first issue of Batman. And see, this one, they did the same thing. It's a slick cover. There's the back cover. And people were getting fooled, so that's why by F7, when they did All-Star #3, they made it where it couldn't fool people. All right, great. So, this is another one I got from Kevin Johnson at Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona. This is another Treasury edition that just reprints Superman stories from different eras. This really was a wonderful time in the 1970s when these things came out. There were great things to be said about the 1970s. This was one of the great things about the 70s is these. There were a lot of horrible things about the 1970s too. Man, I'm not even going to bother putting this in order. Ridiculous. I need more room. What is this? Oh, there's Wonder Woman sticker fun. This is a magazine that we were sitting in an El Chico Mexican restaurant years ago, before the pandemic, right? And we were looking at houses even back then. I'd say this was a while back. I would say, I don't have any idea. Okay, this is August 2018. Okay, I'd say it was about 2016 maybe. And we see this amazing mid-century house for sale in Fort Worth. I mean, just astonishing architecture. And we're thinking, well, is this a house that we should? Yeah, we couldn't afford it at that point. But so we I guess my wife, I found it, and my wife posted it on, I don't know, whatever group. And then our good friend, a friend of mine that gave me his collection of the Avengers comics, he saw what we had posted, and he and his wife went over and looked at the house. And as they were going through the house, people were looking around saying, well, we could pull that out, or we could change that. All these idiots were looking at the house thinking how they could change it and destroy its amazing mid-century look. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention, it had a giant geodesic dome in the back. I'd say about half the size of a football field, looked like Logan's Run. And you could go in there and, play music, have a jukebox and play music. It was meant to be like a little place for parties. And the person that had owned the house back in the 60s had built that as a show place so he could maybe build geodesic domes for people's backyards. I guess that never really took off. But anyway, so my friend went out and they said, we've got to put an offer down on this house because some of these idiots are going to buy it